Okay, so first let me quickly explain to you how I reorganize my bookshelves. So basically in shelves 3, 4, 5, and 6 is where I put my SFF as well as my giant books. And then in shelves 1 and 2 at the top, I put my young adult, dark, and adult books. And then in shelf 7 at the bottom, that's where I put all of my classics, world, and nonfiction books. First, I'll show you the books by section, starting with the most special portion, which is on shelf 4, right side. I have Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, as well as Ancillary Sword. And then I also have my Brandon Sanderson books, The Arithmetist, which is my fave, and The Way of Kings, Warbreaker, The Mistborn Trilogy, The Final Empire, Well of Ascension, and Birds of Freedoms. No, Hero of Ages. And then I also have Elonchis by Brandon Sanderson. And then below that in the tall books, I have Steel Heart and Firefight. I also have Words of Radiance in the US and UK editions. And then the rest of my tall books are Sculptor by Scott McCloud. I read this recently. Watchmen by Alan Moore. The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. Leviathan Wakes by James S. A. Corey, as well as Caliban's War, which are the Expand series. Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. The Magician King by Lev Grossman. The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu. The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. George R. R. Martin's A Storm of Swords, Book 3 in the Song of Ice and Fire series, The City in the City by China Mieville, and then Rimdi as well as Seventies by Neil Stevenson. And the rest are in alphabetical order, starting with The Legend of Eli Monpress by Rachel Aaron, which I really liked, really cute, The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie, Douglas Adams's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Catherine Addison's The Goblin Emperor. B. The Peculiar by Stefan Bachman, Ian M. Banks' Transition, and Use of Weapons. The Mist of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley, as well as The Heritage of Hastur and Char's Excel Bind-Up, Jim Butcher's Furies of Calderon and Akadem's Fury, and then for C we have Seventh Son, Speaker for the Dead, Xenocide, Children of the Mind, which I bought recently, all 3 of those, and then Pathfinder and Ruins. All of these are by Orson Scott Card. And then I also have The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton and Merlin's Harp by Anne Elliot Crompton. D. Philip K. Dick's A Scanner Darkly. For G, I have Fire with Fire by Charles Gannon, Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman, and The Magicians by Lev Grossman. And then for H, I have The Humans by Matt Haig, Robert Heinlein's Starship Troopers, Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, Dune by Frank Herbert, and Wool by Hugh Howey. And then for K, I have Guy Gavriel Kay's A Song for a Bond, which I really liked. And then I have Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence for L, Ursula Le Guin's The Left Hand of Darkness, Lies of Locke Lamora and Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. And then for M, Tall Tales from Pitch End by Nigel McDowell, Royal Exile by Fiona McIntosh, Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan, and London and Railsea by China Mieville. Then for P, I have Aragon by Christopher Bellini, Philip Pullman's The Subtle Knife and Amber Spyglass, books 2 and 3 in the historic material. For R, Patrick Rothfuss, The Name of the Wind, Wise Man's Fear, and Slow Regard of Silent Things, Blood Song by Anthony Ryan. And then for S, Magic by Angie Sage, Red Shirts, Fuzzy Nation, and Old Man's War by John Scalzi, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and The Crystal Cave by Mary Stewart. T, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King, all by J.R.R. Tolkien. W, among others, Far Thing, King's Name, Tooth and Claw, all by Joe Walton. The Martian by Andy Weir. The Once and Future King by T.H. White. Otherland Volume 1 by Tad Williams. John Dies at the End by David Wong. And Child of the Northern Spring by Persia Woolley. And then for my classics, I have The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, which I've been wanting to read forever. And then I also have the Anne of Green Gables series by Ellen Montgomery, but I have it in publication order because that's the order that these came out in. Anne of Green Gables Book 1, Anne of Avonlea Book 2. I don't have Book 3, but I have Book 5, Anne's House of Dreams, Book 4 in publication order. And then Rainbow Valley Book 7, but Book 5 in publication order. And then Rail of Ingleside Book 8, Book 6 publication order. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Mansfield Park, Persuasion, and Northanger Abbey. And then George Orwell's 1984, John Steinbeck's The Pearl. I also have Of Mice and Men somewhere. I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith, Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. And then for my world fiction, I have Two Caravans by Marina Luica, The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Mariel Barberry, The Paper Moon by Andrea Camilleri, Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, which is really good, and The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simons, The White Tiger, Between the Assassinations and Last Man in Tower by Aravind Adiga. Non-fiction, I have Changing My Mind by Zadie Smith, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, Business Adventures by John Brooks, Startup Nation by these guys, Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely, and The Wolf of Wall Street by Jordan Belfort. YA Contemporary, I have Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, Girl in Line by Zoella Sugg, Universe vs. Alex Woods by Gavin Exons. This is really good. Extraordinary Means by Robin Schneider, Paper Towns by John Green, which is cute. For Dystopia, I have 4 by Veronica Roth. I really like the series but I haven't read this. More Than This by Patrick Ness. I didn't like this. Uglies by Scott Westerfeld, didn't like this either. A Thousand Pieces of You by Claudia Gay, which I thought was okay. Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead, I haven't read this. Near Witch by Victoria Schwab. Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, I really liked this before. Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepard. Unspoken by Sarah Reese Brennan. Born Wicked by Jessica Spotswood. Die for Me by Amy Plum. Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers. And Delirium by Lauren Oliver. And then for my horror thriller, Horns by Joe Hill. The Regulators by Stephen King, which is my friend's, but he left it with me. Stephen King's Under the Dome, which is my brother's, and Just After Sunset, which is also my brother's. And then the rest are mine. 11/22/63. The Talisman, which he wrote with Peter Straub, Lizzie's Story, Blaze, Doomakey, and The Green Mile, which I liked. World War Z by Max Brooks. Rant by Chuck Palahniuk. Gone Girl by Yale and Flynn. Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. Adult books. Nightingale Wood by Stella Gibbons. Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. Silver Bay by Jojo Moyes. Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. A Three Girls in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. The Night Watch by Sarah Waters. Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. The Curious Instant Case of a Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. One Day by David Nichols. Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. Sweet is at the Bottom of the Pie, The Weed That Strings a Handman's Bag, and I Am Half Sick of Shadows by Alan Bradley. Anne Pratchett's Bel Canto. White Teeth by Zadie Smith. And Chains by Laurie Halls Anderson. So yeah, I think that's it. I also have Ready Player One and The Book Thief, which I'm currently lending out to people. And then I'm also expecting a few other books that are coming hopefully next week. But yeah, let me know what you think of these books, if you've read any of them, or if you plan to read any of them soon. And thank you for watching.